welcome to the BoshNRoll channel. If you want to support my daily Eternal Magic offerings while getting amazing perks like the BoshNRoll Discord community, have me play your deck on the channel, or listen to sideboard guides before tournaments, check out the Patreon or YouTube membership program. This channel is possible because of these amazing sponsors. Check them out, all their links are in the video description. As always, thanks for being here. Let's go play some Magic.
Welcome back to the BoshNRoll channel. Today I'm playing Legacy at the request of Patreon subscriber Austin. I have built a deck that uses Grist Voracious Larva. Fun little flip planeswalker from Modern Horizons 3. Kind of getting forgotten in the cycle with the success of Tamiyo and Ajani and even Sorin and Ral. I guess literally all of them have decks built around them at this point, except for poor little Grist. 1 mana 1/2. Has Death Touch. When this or another creature you control enters, if it entered from your graveyard or you cast it from your graveyard, you can pay a green. If you do, exile Grist and return it flipped. The Planeswalker side starts on 3. +1, create a 1/1 black and green insect, then mill 2 cards. Put a Death Touch counter on the insect if a black card was milled this way. -2, destroy target artifact or enchantment. -6, for each creature card in your graveyard, create a token that's a copy of it, except it's a 1/1 black-green insect. Okay, what does Grist ask us to do? First of all, it's a green card, but it likes black cards. It wants stuff coming back from the graveyard. And then, just in case we go ultimate, it would like cards that we can leverage if they are also 1/1 insects. And I've built it into a GristGaak shell that also features the Warren Soul Trader combo from Modern Horizons 3. This was a deck that had some heat on it right when Modern Horizons 3 was released, kind of operating in the Yawgmoth space as a green-black infinite combo deck that's built around creatures and creature tutoring. Quickly got pushed out of the metagame with Nadu and Necrodominance and Espergorio and Jeskai and Boros Energy. Whole lot of messed up decks. Warren Soul Trader, though, pay 1 life, sack another creature, make a treasure. This is also a zombie, which works with Gravecrawler, which means if you sacrifice Gravecrawler and make a treasure, you can then spend that treasure to cast Gravecrawler. This means you can cast as many Gravecrawlers as you have life total, but that doesn't do anything on its own, which is where we get Marionette Apprentice, also from MH3. A lot of new cards being featured here. 1 and a black, fabricate 1. When another creature or artifact you control is put into a graveyard for the battlefield, each opponent loses 1 life. This hits your opponent for 1 life on the Gravecrawler dying and on sacrificing the treasure. So as long as you have more than half their life total, this is good enough. You could play something like Blood Artist that makes it properly infinite from any life total, other than 1, I guess. But I don't think we need that in a deck, in a shell this aggressive. And having this combo in the deck checks the box of how can we win if we minus Grist while doing other stuff on kind of a normal axis. Because if I copy Warren Soul Trader, Marionette Apprentice, and Gravecrawler out of the graveyard, that's the loop. We can sack the fake Gravecrawler to cast the real one, and then we're off. Grief, of course, in the deck because we are naturally playing Reanimate because we want to flip Grist. Vengevine and GristGaak, best friends. These are things that are really good at coming out of the graveyard on their own. I added 2 Unearths to the deck as well. Those could target basically everything in the deck except for Grief, Vengevine, and GristGaak. But it can assemble a missing piece of the Soul Trader combo. It could get a Stitcher Supplier looping. It could flip Grist. And Orcish Bowmaster, just a legacy playable card that also happens to be 2 black creatures to tap to convoke GristGaak. And that's the deck. Hopefully these things layer on top of each other in a way that is fun and interesting. I'm a little concerned queuing up a deck this heavy on the graveyard into the Rescaminator meta where everyone's ready for the graveyard, but this is what we got to work with. Let's get after it. This is Austin's GristGaak. I am on the play in round number 1. Opponent says, hello, YouTube. Everyone say hi to Tape Decky. This is more GristGaaks than I want in an opening hand. Not a lot of enabling. I'm actually going to mulligan this. Okay, here we go. Boring, but this is what we got. I'm going to keep, and if I bottom GristGaak, What does that do? Hogak is just the hardest thing to set up. It takes a little while to get that going. Maybe I don't need Cabal Therapy, but Cabal Therapy is, I think, what I want to pitch to Grief. All right, Hogak to the bottom. This is a, unfortunately, boring start here, but it is part of the deck, and it's what keeps the deck competitive in this moment. A Force of Will, Daze, Brainstorm, Ponder. I think I want to take the Force of Will, and they appear to be an Esper strategy. And I'm going to reanimate this thing, obviously. And here, I think I want to take the Daze. I just want to resolve this Bowmaster into these cantrips that they're now priced into casting. They'll probably Underground Sea Ponder to start turn 1, and then it'll be about getting ahead of this Brainstorm. Do not shuffle. Ooh, Supplier is exciting. Now the question is, do I want to just play Bowmaster and block the Brainstorm in their hand, or do I want to try to snipe it? And I don't really want to give them another draw step to figure stuff out. If they daze this, then they're on 0 permanents versus a Grief and 2 lands with Supplier ready to fill up my graveyard. I'm all in. Yeah, they just have to Brainstorm. Take your medicine. This is a good lesson. It might kill them, but they might not be playing the game if they don't do this. This is a lot of damage. Marsh Flats. I imagine they put back one of these lands to make this Marsh Flats a shuffle. Tundra, Guide of Souls. Okay, we got some Esper energy thing happening. Oh, baby. Stitcher Supplier. Oh, I hit Grist, but I can't reanimate Grist and flip it this turn. And I'm just going to attack for 7. And I think I'm going to chill and try to actually reanimate and flip Grist next turn. Or if they kill my creatures, I have reanimate as a backup. Ocelot Pride. Okay, they're starting to do stuff. This will make a 1/1 blocker in the end step. Mockingbird. This enters as a copy of any creature on the battlefield with mana value equal to or less than the amount of mana spent to cast Mockingbird, except it's a bird. Okay, so they can copy Stitcher Supplier, Orc Army, or Guide of Souls, or Ocelot Pride. I assume it's going to be Ocelot Pride, given that they sequenced it in this order. This is going to be fun. We suddenly have a game where we didn't have one a minute ago. Oh yeah, that's a lot of cats. And a lot of just passive life gain as well. Well, Marionette Apprentice. Whenever another creature or artifact I control dies, which does make them trading off with my creatures worse. I'm going to play the Apprentice, make a Servo, and they have a bunch of first strike creatures. I have a 4/4 and a 1/1 that I like when it dies. They should actually double block Stitcher Supplier because they gain an extra life off first strike damage. Okay, each opponent loses a life. Then I mill 4. Come on, Hogak. Nope. Bunch of bricks. Okay. Passing the turn. They have achieved stability on the board. Hogak is bigger than all their stuff, if I can find one. Reanimating Grist next turn sounds pretty good, actually. They can Guide of Souls up one of these Ocelots. Probably the one that doesn't already have flying, would be my guess. Yeah, Mockingbird, brand new from Bloomborough, one of the few cards in this set that could possibly penetrate Eternal formats. It's a pretty low power set. Psychic Frog, that hits pretty hard. All this made possible by that YOLO Brainstorm into the Orcish Bowmaster. Can't live in fear. Oh man, they have the City's Blessing now. All of these things are doubled. I think I have definitely lost this game. That's so many cats. I'm going to reanimate Grist. It's either Grist or Stitcher Supplier, but I want to at least do the thing. Okay, there's Grist. Trigger. Yes. Destroy target artifact or enchantment. This is none of those things. Mill 2. Hope to hit a Hogak. And a Vengevine. None of the above. Okay, their first strike creatures are tapped right now. I'll attack with my other things. They have so many cats, they don't even care. I am actually just dead in combat, and they didn't make any catastrophic mistakes here. GG. Really cool stability. Mockingbird to the save. This is a Fatal Push matchup. They didn't really appear to have mana denial. I saw Daze. I didn't see Wasteland. Could still have Wasteland, but I'm going to chill. I think I'm going to back off of Unearth a little bit because I'm such an obvious graveyard deck. that's a point of pressure they can apply to me. Cabal Therapy is part of the engine. I'm looking at Marionette Apprentice or Hogak as probably my weakest cards. Like, Hogak would have been my best card that game, but then my opponent gained 1,000,000 life, and now they're going to have in graveyard hate. Okay, this is interesting because it only has one land, which I don't like, but it does have a bunch of cards I do like. I'm going to buy you into Stitcher Supplier. Fuel that graveyard. There's a Vengevine in the graveyard. That is exciting news for next turn, because Putrid Imp plus discard Hogak is 2 creatures I can cast. Guide of Souls, you got it. Land would make this super easy. Oh, that Fatal Push is so tempting. Okay, I'm going to give this flying with... I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have to discard 2 cards, or Hogak plus 2 cards. No, I can cast Hogak from hand. I have to discard 2 cards. Gravecrawler. I think I'm going to give up on the Soul Trader here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Trigger Vengevine. Okay. I am on board this game in a way that I wasn't last game. They saw the scam half of the deck last game, and they easily overcame it. Let's see if they can overcome the Hogak half of the deck. Ocelot Pride. Well, if they Mockingbird again and just have 2 of these things, that could be enough. Tamiyo, okay. That is not as good as the other one. Make a cat in the end step. Okay, I did draw the land. That turns on Orcish Bowmaster, which is really nice. I am going to zap in Boggart Bog. I'm going to attack with Hogak Vengevine and Stitcher Supplier. We've seen Daze in their deck, which is something I just want to be slightly respectful of. Okay, so Supplier can die to first strike damage first. That's fine. We'll see what's going on in the graveyard before I make other decisions. Bunch of cards that don't matter is what's going on. Opponent goes to 7. Is Ocelot Pride or Guide of Souls actually the important card here? I think it's Guide of Souls. And I have played around Daze by zapping in this land. Okay, here we go. Attacking with the creatures that are good at attacking. I can't block and then get Threshold because I only have 1 card, even if I was willing to discard a card to that effort, which I'm not. Tamiyo's going to flip, which saves them 2 life off the Hogak and the Vengevine attacks. I'm pretty worried about Swords to Plowshares. If this Hogak goes, I'm going to fall apart pretty quick. Psychic Frog. Okay. And they get a cat in the end step. 1 short of the City's Blessing right now. Attack with my big creatures. I am ignoring Tamiyo. Going face. Face is the place. They have Chumps Forever on the Vengevine. Oh. If they invest actual cards into beating Vengevine with this Psychic Frog, this Bowmaster is going to be a huge blowout. Okay, I'm moving to damage. Discard a Flooded Strand. Discard a Containment Priest. Okay. Yeah, damage happens. Opponent is Hellbent. I gotta deal with this frog while I can. It's required by law. I'm gonna leave Bayou in my hand in case I want to get Putrid and Flying. Opponent's at 2, cracking this clue, kills the Ocelot Pride, buying back Brainstorm with Tamiyo, kills the Ocelot Pride and them. Okay, I could block and get Threshold here. I'm gonna do that. Block, 2/2. I think removing the Ocelot Pride for real is better than getting Flying for an extra attack next turn. And it's a 2/2 now, just until something leaves my graveyard. Bowmaster, kill this cat. Sweet. Alright, Hogak carried. Most important card in the matchup, I think. We saw Containment Priest. I could bring in Voidwalkers just to level out pressure. Vengevine was a big part of that game. I could switch out Therapies for Voidwalkers and just be as Golgari mid-range as possible right now. Thoughtseize seems pretty good against them, because they are trying to assemble multiple pieces. I can lose 1 Soul Trader and not feel too bad about it. Do I want to give up the combo entirely? It's also just a 3-mana 3/3. Baller stats for the matchup. I could go 2 Voidwalkers, 2 Thoughtseizes. Yeah, I think I'd rather have max out Thoughtseize and not bring in a Voidwalker than cut one of my other main deck cards. Ooh, no lands at all. This hand would have been great. With 1 land, this goes Putrid Imp, discard Vengevine, Grief You, trigger Vengevine. Mulligan. Okay, this one's fine. Ended up with a grief scam anyway. I think I want to bottom the other reanimate here. Putrid Imp could set up messed up turns. Reanimate's very good. All right, I will shuffle away the other reanimate for now. Ocelot Pride in play. Fatal Push, that's good news. We've seen Daze, so I'm going to land before I do anything else. And I think I'm going to pitch Putrid Imp here. I don't have GristGaak or Vengevine or any clear path to them, so I'm just going to chill. Okay, they can't cast... Oh wow, Abiding Grace, that's gross. Voidwalker will shut that down. They can't cast Frog with the mana they have. I don't care about Prismatic Ending. Fatal Push becomes a massive blowout on Mockingbird. It's just a 1/1 with no text if I push in response to them casting it. This is really difficult, actually. I think I'm going to take the Frog just in case they draw a Black Source and pass the turn. Or I could reanimate their Frog, but then they Prismatic End it. No, that's not good. Okay, I'll take the Frog. And pass. Okay, please don't draw Daze. I can take the hit. That doesn't matter. It only matters if we go into the end step. And taking the hit kind of sells the narrative that I don't have removal, but I do. And they smartly played around it. The Abiding Grace will be a concern in the near future. There's GristGaak. I think I want to reanimate Grief here, make sure I don't get my Grace abided, and then I can play Voidwalker on the future turns. They didn't Daze me in the end step. I doubt they have Daze. They could have drawn Containment Priest, which would be a massive beating. When does this happen? At the beginning of your end step. Okay. So if they have a land, I'm in trouble. All right. I'm just going to cast Reanimate on Grief. Please work. Ah, what a draw. We knew that was possible, but also just one random card off the top. That means they didn't have a land. If they now go land Abiding Grace, we are... Oh, wait, I don't care about Abiding Grace with Containment Priest in play. That's actually cool. Okay, I am way behind on life total and about to be falling behind on every other resource. I'll play Dothy Voidwalker, and I'm going to play Boggart Bog as a tapped land. They can kill Voidwalker with the Prismatic Ending. Yeah, I needed them not to draw Priest right there, and they did. Brainstorm now, yeah, they're just getting out of it. That's the thing about discard decks. Your opponent gets to draw a card every turn. There's a Brainstorm in the Void right now, but they found a land, which means they could Prismatic Ending, and the Void doesn't matter. And that is what happened. Thoughtseize, we are dead at this point. Locked out of all my engines. That was the one that did it. On to the next round. GG's. Very cool deck.
This video is sponsored by Moxfield.com, the easiest way to build Magic decks online. Moxfield supports over 30 formats, including Legacy and everything else you'll see on this channel. There's multiple customizations so you can interact with your deck how you want. Views such as text, grid, or stacks, and groupings like type, subtype, color, color identity, even artist. The site offers light mode, dark mode, and so much more. However you want to see your deck, Moxfield can provide it for you. Follow my Moxfield to keep up with the channel and what I'm playing in paper. I'll see you there.
I'm on the play for round 2, and I like my hand. Just big GristGaak energy here. Stitcher Supplier, let's go. That hit a Vengevine, that rules. I am ready to trigger Vengevine next turn. I have 2 creatures I can cast. And I have 2 creatures I can cast even if they grief me, because I can cast Gravecrawler from the graveyard. That's kind of its thing. Got a Ponder, okay. Volcanic Island Ponder could be Grixis Delver. Could be some sort of Jeskai control. Those are starting to make a small fringe resurgence. Grixis Delver is the most likely thing this is, though. Could also just be like Storm, I guess. Okay, fetch for a Bayou. Gravecrawler. Gravecrawler, trigger Vengevine. I could attack for 5, or I could cast GristGaak into a potential Daze here. I'd have to tap all my creatures to do that. I think GristGaak getting Dazed would be really embarrassing. I'm just going to attack for 5. Is this fetch land next turn lets me play GristGaak with mana still up, and I'm still able to attack. Flooded Strand from the opponent. Let's learn more about their deck. Grixis confirmed. I mean, Psychic Frog is enormous if that's what they have here. but I don't care about any of my creatures. You can tell them I said that. Okay, this is an exciting development. What do I do with this Warren Soul Trader now? I think I'm going to start by just casting Soul Trader. If they daze this, that's a daze they might not have for Hogak, and then I can make different decisions. But once I attack, I can't convoke with those creatures anymore. This is also a creature spell I've cast this turn, which means if Vengevine ends up dead, I can just get it back with Hogak. Daze confirmed, that's fine. There are 4 cards in my graveyard I would be fine exiling. I want the Soul Trader still there. Vengevine, attack. If I attack with a Gravecrawler, if they block, I'm just going to attack with Vengevine. I don't want to mess around with what they may or may not do and how that may or may not affect how much non-mana mana I have for Hogak. And they can decide if they want to take 4 here or trade off with a creature that might come right back. They should be suspicious that I didn't just attack with everything. They didn't block at all. Smart. I think going for a Hogak here and putting them to no permanence if they daze me, no non-frog permanence, is a fine deal. And Hogak's just in. Sick. But they did have daze. I played around it last turn. Between Soul Trader and Hogak, I would rather have Hogak in play. But if that Soul Trader had resolved, I would easily have both, plus a big untapped army and a bunch of mana. Frog actually does beat Hogak in combat if they discard their whole hand, but I would be happy with that trade. They can have a tapped 8-9 versus my mostly lethal board. Okay. One spell interaction with Hogak is fine. The plan is to have another Hogak this turn. And Psychic Frog afraid to attack. You love to see it. All right, I'm going to reanimate Soul Trader and see how far we can get this turn. This Bowmaster was a big draw. Okay. I am going to attack with all of my creatures. Blocking Vengevine, which is the biggest creature and requires the most discards for them to keep their frog. Discarded Tarn, C, and they need 1 more to beat it. Force of Will. I am going to sack okay, hold on. I could sack Vengevine for a treasure, or I could make them discard another card for Bowmaster not to kill Psychic Frog. I'm actually going to just put the damage on Psychic Frog. Okay, and then we've got Bowmaster from hand, and I can pay for days by sacking a Gravecrawler. Let's cost you another card from your hand. Discarded Lightning Bolt, okay. And this is a bunch of creatures. I'm going to sack Stitcher Supplier, fill up my graveyard. I could even hit another Vengevine here. And I did. Let's go. Sacrifice Gravecrawler. Cast Gravecrawler from the graveyard. Trigger both Vengevines. And then also recast Hogak. Boom. Warren Soul Trader. What's up? Okay, opponent is very, very dead unless they can find 8 more damage to do to me this turn. They can jump the frog. Okay, they decided they're on no outs, which is probably true. That was sweet. Fatal Push is coming in. White Walker is not bad passively versus Grixis. They're going to have stuff like Grafdigger's Cage. I think the Soul Trader combo is a little bit of a pipe dream versus a deck as efficient as Delver, and your life total actually is under real pressure. But it was very good there, which shouldn't be surprising, because basically the whole deck is built to leverage it. If I'm cutting Soul Traders, I can also cut Unearths. Cabal Therapy is mostly only good in this matchup as an answer to, or as a way to sack Stitcher Supplier. I could go down 1 Gravecrawler. I like all my lands. I guess Marionette Apprentice is kind of bad without Soul Traders in the deck too. Here we go. The part of the league where I juke into a normal Legacy deck. Oh, risky, but so close to good. I'm going to keep. I'm on the draw. And Mortuary sees another card. Let's do it. Mishra's Bauble. Delver of Secrets. The race is on. Untapped land. Let's go. Now what do I do with it? Okay, I will play the untapped land just in case they daze me, and I'm going to pitch Putrid Imp to Grief. Grief does confirm there's a daze over there. I will take that so I can play spells. and then fetch my basic swamp. Yeah, I think basic swamp is good. Reanimate Grief. I think I'm going to take their Bowmaster here, because that's something I can reanimate next turn. If Delver doesn't flip here, reanimating their Bowmaster becomes insane. Delver did flip, revealing Force of Will. Tough beats. Now we're actually behind in the race, and they are pondering. I would too, trying to find those land drops. Did not shuffle the ponder, but also didn't hit a land drop. Spooky. Okay. I think reanimate would be a must counter for them, because this brainstorm situation they've got going on, their hand is pretty soft to Orcish Bowmaster right now. This also takes a card out of their graveyard for Murktide Regent. I think they would just ignore Stitcher Supplier for a little while. And we did get the forest pitching Brainstorm. Mortuary. Land number 3. I don't think I want another land here. I want as many looks as possible at Vengevine. I have a bunch of creatures in my hand. They all cost 1. Ooh, opponent did find the land, just didn't play it last turn. They could Murktide here, put me dead on board. All right, I'm not winning this game. Stitcher Supplier, see what you can shake up. There is a Gravecrawler there, no anything else, and we are exactly dead. Nice one. The race. Pick Your Poison should be in. I just missed that. That kills Murktides and Flip Delvers and stuff. I think that might even be better than some of the Voidwalkers, or Marionette Apprentice just does almost nothing once the combo's out. This is what I'm doing. Okay. Slow and steady, but I will keep it. Golgari midrange, the Reed Duke special. Whether I'm going to fetch Mortuary or play Gravecrawler is an interesting decision. I do have to win with damage, and Hogak likes when things are in play. If I curve Gravecrawler into Voidwalker, that is a nice little damage curve, and if they counter the Voidwalker or kill it, I can reanimate it and keep going. Yeah, I am gonna fetch basic Swamp and play Gravecrawler. Start the attacks. They're also starting the attacks. I don't think they're gonna block, but I'm gonna attack. Drawing a Vengevine here with no discard outlet nor any real route to cast 2 creatures, kind of a bummer, but there is a secret mode of Vengevine where you just tap 4 mana. Voidwalker, I'm just going to keep casting my spells. If they daze this, they're down to land on the draw. We play those games. Delver did not flip. Brainstorm into the Void. I like that they're brainstorming and not just immediately bolting my creature or slamming Psychic Frog or something else. They found a Polluted Delta. That's not a Wasteland. Not that I'm worried about Wasteland here. Another Delver. Okay. We're Delver gaming. Stitcher Supplier. Hello. Okay, I'm going to lead on that. Hit a Vengevine, which does not actually do anything. I could yeet my Voidwalker to Brainstorm right now and try to make something happen. That sounds really bad, though. I could also reanimate Stitcher Supplier. But what does that do? I would have to hit exactly Hogak. I could reanimate Vengevine. That seems like a waste of reanimate for a creature that just comes back on its own. Okay, I'm going to reanimate Stitcher Supplier. And I'm going to play around Daze while I do it. Come on, Hogak. Grief and Grist. Bummer. Okay. Attacking with my stuff. They have shuffled since they pondered. Or they brainstormed and shuffled, so this is a random card. No longer random. I'm at 10, they're at 12. And Delver flipped Revealing Ponder, and they used their red mana to cast the Brainstorm, not their black mana, which means I'm not worried about Lightning Bolt until they play another land. 6, 12, 15. Yeah, attack, bolt isn't even lethal here. Yeah, they are dead before I am in the current damage race. And if I draw a land and cast Vengevine, we're just in for more. Also, Pick Your Poison is a removal spell that I now have in my deck. Murktide is blank. Dragon's Rage Channeler is a 1 mana 1/1 with Scry that can't get any bigger, and they also can't cast with the mana they have. Frog can't get flying. And I do have 2 Brainstorms and now a Ponder in the Void. Shuffled their library quickly. And big draws? Oh yeah, that is a pretty big draw. Is picking my poison before or after combat, does that matter? Each opponent attacks a creature with flying. I'll do it now. Okay, now I have to decide how I'm casting Hogak. I think I just tap the 2 suppliers to do it and attack with my other stuff. Yeah, I'm just going to do that right now. Hogak's in. Unfortunately, no second creature. Can't trigger that Vengevine. I'm way ahead in any sort of conventional damage race right now. They would have to have some sort of extremely powerful follow-up, some surprise sweeper that I don't think this deck normally plays or something. Even if they Molten Collapse Hogak, I still have way more damage than them. I have a lethal attack, exactly 7, without the Hogak in play, which means Delver would have to block. And we got the GGs in the chat. On to the next round. Welcome to TopDeck.gg, your community's home for everything competitive Magic has to offer. If you're hosting an event, playing for a huge prize, or advertising your events to thousands of players, we've got you covered. Using intuitive pairing software, playing Magic is a breeze. Players just have to sign up online, then scan the QR code in-store. Give competitors the gift of perfect information as their bracket updates in real time. The self-reporting software saves you time and leaves paper match slips in the past. Leave the heavy lifting to TopDeck.gg so your community can relax and focus on playing Magic. I'm on the draw in round 3 with no lands at all. I will mulligan. Okay. All vibes here. We don't actually know what this hand does yet. Might not do anything. But Stitcher Supplier is the one. Swamp Supplier is where we're going here. Milled a bunch of stuff that is not graveyard synergistic, but it's all Delve. Let's see if they just Entomb, Reanimate, and Atraxa here. Brainstorm. End-step Brainstorm. This feels like a Doomsday or Storm thing to do, more than a scam thing to do. But if they have Troll... Oh, wow! Easy turn 1 win with Hogak. I don't know what just happened. They must have been Brainstorm locked and not interested in playing the game anymore. Okay. I want my Thoughtseizes and my Voidwalkers. If they're Storm, I would want Oofs. If they are Scam, I would want Pushes. If they're Doomsday, I don't want any of this stuff. Maybe I just bring in my Thoughtseizes and mostly keep my deck intact because I don't know what they're doing yet. That was a shocking concession. But the concession itself also makes me think that they're a combo deck and not Scam or Fair Frog, because who concedes to just Stitcher Supplier? You have 19 draws before Stitcher Supplier kills you. Yeah, I think the Thoughtseize is where I'm going to go. I'm not going to do the Oofs or Voidwalkers. I'm just going to keep my deck mostly intact. Shave on the Soul Trader thing. That's just the clunkiest thing in the deck, though it is fun and has come up, but it is the clunkiest and worst thing going on. Okay, they scooped a Stitcher Supplier last game. I'm in for this hand. Flooded Strand suddenly revealed. Basic Island. Brainstorm. Oh my god. This player loves to just brainstorm without a shuffle available. Are they going to concede here too? That would be so sick. Okay, they were digging for grief. Exiled a Troll of Khazad-dûm. They are scamming. Which of my graveyard cards would you like to put in my graveyard? Yeah, Stitcher Supplier is clearly the correct thing to get rid of here. Oh, my very own. Okay, I'm going to pitch one of these Grave Crawlers and grief them. Ooh, okay. If I take the Troll, they don't get to shuffle. If I take the Reanimate, their best card is gone. I'm going to take the Troll and try to high roll this. I'm not in great shape anyway if they just come up with black mana, and I'm going to hope that they don't just draw for the turn and play a fetch land and then kill me. Okay, Brainstorm sees 2 new cards here. Sad. Okay, we've lost. So it depends on what they reanimate. Like Troll, they take 6. They're starting the race at 12. And I'll have Bowmaster in my hand versus the known Brainstorm in theirs. If they grief the Brainstorm, grief doesn't hit that hard. We have lots of time to figure it out. There's not an Atraxa in the graveyard, which is the important thing. That would kill us immediately. Reanimating my grief. Okay. Bowmaster's gone. Now I'm just drawing wild. We're both on 7-turn clocks, but I get to attack first. Wall Therapy. That can name Brainstorm. I'm just going to name the card that I know they have. And their hand is Polluted Delta. Good stuff. After the Brainstorm is gone, then I get to attack for 2, and I can fetch Underground Mortuary. And we are both in top deck mode. Fetching once doesn't change the clock, fetching twice does. Oh, they played Scalding Tarn. Ooh, that's a little bleed. I saw Pluto Delta, then they played Scalding Tarn. Okay, Underground Mortuary. I feel like I have to find like any spell here. Putrid Imp. I think I can do better. Yeah, that's not what I want to be doing. I don't even have Threshold, not even close. Pluto Delta. Bummer. I'm going to have to be cagey about fetching with this Delta, because it does change. It puts them ahead in the race. Undercity Sewers. Kept the card. Uh-oh. Yeah, this was a case of whoever finds the card first is going to win, and they found a very good card quickly. Now I might as well fetch and thin out the bad cards because... Ooh, okay. That is a 3-1. It's not a zombie. Well, this can't block, so might as well attack. They took the 2. Auger Trawler. Wipe out that graveyard. I think block discard is just really good there, but I guess they get blown out by a Bowmaster or reanimate on Bowmaster, so they are playing around cards they've seen. Now Frog can't fly. If I block, it'll cost them their whole hand to keep Frog around, but that's plenty good enough. Yeah, I think I would rather bet against the cards than try to raise a 3-4 and sack my creature to do it. All right, now they discarded Delta. Reanimating my Bowmaster, what a beat. Okay, yep, Psychic Frog, nutso. Vengevine can attack for 4 on this board. If I draw one, I have to fetch to 9, they just block. I'm going to fetch and just give myself as many live draws as possible. That's not one. Okay. That was competitive for like 1 second. Game 3, now I know what I'm playing against. Dauthi Voidwalker coming in, Fatal Push coming in, Thoughtseize coming out. Grief is actually pretty bad in Scam Mirrors, but it is a big part of my deck and good at putting one of their things in the graveyard for me to reanimate it. I actually like the Unearths in this matchup, just more redundant stuff coming out of the graveyard. Do I like Unearth more than Grief? I could go 3-1. I think I like that. Griefing them on the play just seems so good. Okay, this hand is pretty good. I'm going to keep it. Stitcher Supplier is a zombie, which means I don't need Putrid Imp, but Putrid Imp is how I get Hogak into the graveyard, but I don't need Hogak in the graveyard. I could cast it from hand. I'm going to pitch Putrid Imp here. Yeah, I think Gravecrawler plus Supplier is plenty going on. 1 land, a little nervous, but I have a basic. Wow. The aggro Force of Will on Grief. Rarely seen because it's rarely correct, but let's try to punish it. If I don't have Reanimate, that could have been good. Fatal Push, Unlicensed Hearse. Well, I'm taking Unlicensed Hearse because I cannot beat that card. And if they want to Fatal Push my Grief, that's fine. Yeah, they could fetch push and Grief's in the graveyard. Can't fetch off that. Mortuary, okay. I'm going to play that first. Voidwalker is a keeper, which means I'm not going to Stitcher Supplier this turn. I'll just Gravecrawler. Although I hardly know her. That joke is never old. A Gravecrawler. If they cast Entomb this turn, that would be pretty terrifying. That would open up a lot of insane draws in their deck. If they want to Fatal Push Gravecrawler, I'll just do a Victory Lap right now. Wow! Victory Lap, I'll be back in 2 minutes. There's the Island. Psychic Frog, with 2 cards in their hand. One of them is Flooded Strand. Okay. I can go Supplier, which is 6 cards in the graveyard. Yeah, I think I'm actually going to ignore Dauthi Voidwalker and try to do messed up graveyard stuff. Ball Therapy, poor Grist. Alright, I'm going to cast Gravecrawler, and then I'm going to cast Hogak. Or I should attack first. Yeah, I'll attack first. I don't think this matters. I can't play around Daze. You can't, like, convoke an extra creature for that. I could have left a card in my graveyard. Yeah, I guess I could have sacked the Stitcher Supplier to Cabal Therapy and maybe had a bigger turn, but I think if this Hogak sticks, we're just good. They would have to Entomb Reanimate a giant monster right now to bring this back, I think. They can Jump Frog, get a redraw. 2 cards in hand. They can make it 3. But they're not winning this game without Atraxa or Archon. Petty Theft. All right. That is a stopgap solution at best. Though it does draw them a card. Wow, discarding Troll, pushing that extra damage. The race is on. Now they have one card in their hand, random off the top. Oh, reanimate. I could use that Troll. Yeah, getting your own stuff reanimated, they can jump the frog now, but that means they can't jump it on their turn. Okay, or they just don't jump it, that's fine too. I accept. 1, 2, or 3, 4, 5, 6. If Troll's still in play, frog can't beat Troll. Okay, I will attack with Stitcher. If they have another Brazen Borrower, I think I will be glad to have the extra damage through. Oh, something's happening. They're just Undercity Sewering. Please don't put Attracts in the graveyard right now. Psychic Frog in the graveyard right now, that's fine. Yeah, they could have just given the frog flying, countered my reanimate. That's a really important interaction in these frog reanimate mirrors right now to be aware of. They're dead on board to the Troll, and then I have other stuff going on too. If they have another Brazen Borrower, that puts their Troll back in their hand, where it's very good. And we did it. Okay, weird game 1, where they got Brainstorm locked and scooped, and then this game, they gave me a Troll that I didn't really deserve. On to the next round. The BoshNRoll channel is proudly partnered with the Resleevables.
Good. All right, here we go, gang.
In this YouTube series, hosts Cedric Phillips and Patrick Sullivan take us on a set-by-set journey through the good, the bad, and the ugly of Magic's history. Each episode is a focused deep dive into the facts about a set's design and release, the Magic lore expressed through the cards in that set, Tournament Edition gameplay videos featuring products and Pro Tour decks of the era, an award show that shouts out the best and weirdest cards of the set, and a final grade for the set's overall success. Whether you want a history lesson or a nostalgia hit, The Resleevables has it at youtube.com/theresleevables. I'm on the play in round 4 versus Geodude Jared, who has been playing a lot of goblins lately. Been seeing those results pop up and playing against them in my videos. I think Grief can pitch Boggart Trawler here. Like, Grief pitching Grief is fine, but in terms of what would I rather spend mana on later, yeah, I'm gonna pitch Trawler. That's what it's here for. Let's see if we were right about Goblins. Goblins confirmed. And Boggart Trawler confirmed over there as well. I'm gonna take Matron because I can pop the Prospector with Orcish Bowmasters. And I think, actually, the Mortuary is more important than having Gravecrawler in play right now. Bloodstained Mire, Basic Mountain, Goblin Lackey. Okay, even better. Very happy to kill that, but it was a good draw for them. Mortuary, get rid of this land. Supplier, what's up? Happy to see that one. Bowmaster, roast your homie. Wooded Foothills, Skark Prospector, here they are. Opponent can cast Boggart Trawler next turn. I'm going to Stitcher Supplier, see what I can shake loose. I'd love to see a Vengevine or a Hogak here. Found a Vengevine, which means I could cast Gravecrawler and trigger that Vengevine. I'm going to attack with everything. I am going to pitch this Grief and just try to get over the finish line. There's one unknown card in the hand right now. Never mind. I'm going to play Bog and be prepared to hardcast Grief if I draw a land. Because I did my graveyard stuff that turn. Dodged the Boggart Trawler. Fetched another basic in the end step. There's a Badlands from hand. Can they do better than Trawler this turn? 2 new cards that I don't know over there. Big Trawler. This will slow down a Hogak if I flip into one, but mostly the damage was already done there. Just going to fire the squad. Unearth was a great draw. Anything they trade with is a good trade at this point. Okay, just trading with Vengevine. That does play around Unearth extremely well. Opponent's at 7, and I could cycle Unearth and try to do something. I think I'm just going to pass, though. I'm also not ready to Grief them. At 6 mana, I probably have to Grief because Muxus is going to be in this deck. This is 5 this turn. Got a 4-drop. It's Ringleader. And we've got another Ringleader and a Sting Scourger in the hand. Scourger is really good against Hogak. A creature is a good draw. Not a creature. Okay, I can hardcast Grief. Strip the other Ringleader. Just ram in here. Yeah, I'm just going to ram in here. Everybody's ramming. Opponent's life total's low. Just pushing. Trading with Gravecrawler. Bold. This Gravecrawler is a creature that I can cast, which means that if I pitch this Unearth, I can trigger Vengevine now. I think I'd rather just cast Grief, though, and have the Unearth available in the future. Okay, Grief. Check that hand. See if there's a Muxus waiting for me over there. There was indeed. Get rid of that. In Magic, it is important to know what people can do on certain turns. Like if I had Griefed last turn, maybe they hadn't drawn the Muxus yet. Goblin War Chief. Okay. They can cast Sting Scourger for 1, sack it for 1, sack Skirk Prospector, play Ringleader, and have a handful of goblins, I guess. Deleting my token permanently is a reasonable decision. Okay, any creature at all. Is that one? Did I lie? Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have to just cycle Unearth here, actually. A cycle Unearth. Grist. It's not going to flip, but Grist is going to be involved in an important turn here. Good gracious. Larva's Voracious. And Gravecrawler from the graveyard triggers Vengevine. Yes, I would like to do this. Unfortunately, can't flip Grist. I would love to. And what attacks do I have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Bowmaster just dies. Vengevine definitely. Grief definitely. Yeah, I'm just sending everybody. With them at 4, and I have a menace creature and a creature that's bigger than all their creatures. If they want trades, they need to double block, which means these 1/1s getting in the zone is useful to me. And they have to block Vengevine. Okay, they decided to go to 1 here, flipped another Vengevine, and that all enables Hogak. Boom, 8/8 in the way. They have Ringleader that costs less. And the Skirk Prospector had to die that turn. Sting Scourger is going to go. 1 life to work with. I'd be impressed if they pull this out. Here's the Ringleader. Battlecry Goblin, Goblin Lackey, Goblin Matron. It doesn't feel like it does it. No, they could play Lackey and Matron here. And then attack for 6, 7. And I block the Lackey and I'm just fine. And Goblin Matron has less card in their hand. But they have 1 unknown card. They did get a draw step before the Ringleader. Oh, okay. Uh-oh. Did they play a second Sting Scourger? And if they do, does it matter? Matron, whatever the answer is, Matron will find it if it exists. Wow, okay. Already used up the Sting Scourger, which would have been the most useful card there. Okay, playing against Goblins. Fatal Push is coming in. Voidwalker doesn't block. I'm not really interested in that. Thoughtseize is a very bad top deck, but it is good early. I think I actually want Force of Vigor here because Leyline of the Void is likely something they have access to. Cabal Therapy, hit or miss on that one, and the 1 Unearth. Unearth has come up once in this league so far, and I cycled it. Pick Your Poison is also a way I could answer a Leyline or a Grafdigger's Cage or whatever. What would I have to do to make room for that? It would be another Unearth and another Apprentice. And I'm kind of heavy on reactive stuff. I think that's okay, though. Being able to answer a Leyline, especially if they multa like 6 or 5 to find it, just clipping it immediately, their hand might be complete trash. Well, my hand's great if they don't have a Leyline. And they don't. Cool. Cavern of Souls. Turn 1 Lackey. I also would have kept that hand. Good call. I have a Trawler I could pitch, but Bowmaster on 2 mana is actually really good. Do I want to pitch this Hogak? I'm going to pitch Trawler. You can't stop me. If Hogak has to wait a turn, it's fine. Oh wow, they are in on turn 1 Lackey here. I could actually reanimate one of their creatures if I think it's better than Grief. Like if I think Sling Gang Lieutenant is better than Grief here. That is a bunch of blockers. Broadside Bombardiers. I could throw Hogak at them in the near future. That's actually so messed up. I think I'm going to take the Lieutenant, though. That's just 3 creatures. That's so many creatures. I think the hero mode play, though, would actually just be play Stitcher Supplier and put Hogak in front of the way next turn. But I'm not a hero. I am a safe, risk-averse Magic player. No attack. A Bayou. Now you're in trouble. I'm just going to ping the Lackey and attack with my Sling Gang Lieutenant. I can't blame them for keeping the one-lander with Lackey and Muxus on the play. I would have been inclined to do that as well. Oh, I could have just attacked for 1 and played Hogak that turn. I was just so excited to smear their face that I did not actually play to my good cards. A Supplier, please hit a Vengevine. Gravecrawler, not a Vengevine. Mortuary could still Venge. Polluted Delta, don't need that. I'm going to play a Crawler. Attack with everybody who knows how to attack, and then I have 2 creatures back to cast Hogak with, leaving Grief in the graveyard as a reanimate target. This game looks over to me. I'd have to do something pretty spicy here. Slam Tabernacle out of your Goblin deck. But hilariously, that doesn't even come close to winning the game. Okay, they started to cast a spell. They did the math. GG's opponent. This matchup feels really bad for them if they don't have heavy and dedicated graveyard hate very early. I just flood the board with so many idiots, both big and small. Good stuff. On to the final round.
We're a few rounds into the video. Thanks for sticking with me. Friendly reminder that if you're still here and having fun, smash that subscribe button. And if you want to play what I'm playing, you can use my affiliate link for TCG Player to support the channel while you shop for cards, and you can try any deck anytime with a cardhoarder.com loan account for Magic Online. All these links are in the video description below. Now back to the league.
I'm on the play in the final round. I have a Grief but no Reanimate. That's okay. Still good. I'm going to Grief exiling the Marionette Apprentice. First appearance of... No, it showed up in round 1. Never mind. I was about to say first appearance of that one, and it's just getting exiled. But that's the thing, right? Black cards just let you do stuff. Oh my goodness. We're playing against a Ripples of Undeath Reanimator deck of some kind. This is actually sick. So if I take their Ripples of Undeath... Okay, if I take Ripples and I play Gravecrawler, they reanimate my Grief. The only thing to take is my Hogak. Yeah, I'm actually going to take Ripples. That's like Sylvan Library in their deck. Another cool fringe Modern Horizons 3 card that isn't just Psychic Frog. It's fun to see. I'm going to play Gravecrawler and pass. And they can decide if they actually want to reanimate the Grief into this Gravecrawler that I've shown them. Raucous Theater. Oh my god, they've been to Grizzlebrand. And they drew Lotus Petal for turn? Are you kidding? I'm losing my mind right now. What do I have to do? I pay for Moto Premium. I don't even get draws like this. Okay, whatever. You thought you walk him into one thing and you just get clowned. Okay. Clearly some sort of dedicated reanimator strategy. I'm going to treat it like a combo deck. Dothy Voidwalker and Thoughtseize in. Pick Your Poison kills Ripples of Undeath. It also kills Animate Dead. It also kills Grizzlebrand and Atraxa, though I feel like the game is already over if those things are in play. Let's just one more time for the road cut all the Warren Soul Traders and Unearths. I am going to bring in Pick Your Poison. I just feel like having anything that could interact with anything is useful. Okay, very slow hand. I am going to keep it, though. I think I want to Cabal Therapy my opponent and name Reanimate. That's just the most efficient way they can mess me up on turn 1. Entomb was the other thing I would have named, and turns out they did actually have Entomb and not Reanimate. Okay, they have Grief, Unmask, and Entomb in their hand. Here's the Swamp. Grief pitching Unmask. Took one of the Stitchers. I believe that is correct. Do they want to pitch Molten Collapse to take the other Stitcher? I think that would be reasonable to do here. They didn't do it. Stitcher, Supplier, play that one. Cabal Therapy, target you. Let's get this Dothy Voidwalker out of the game. They're going to Entomb in response. If they had somehow let that resolve, I would have taken Entomb, but Dothy Voidwalker, also not a card I want to play against. If their hand has Reanimated in it now, then they got me. Okay, we take the Voidwalker. Their hand is Grizzlebrand, Grief, Molten Collapse. Underground Mortuary. Thoughtseize, I'm not interested in that. And I have 2 creatures to cast next turn. They'd have to grief me to stop me from casting 2. Or no, it doesn't matter because they're zombies. I hope they do grief me, actually. And they did. Grief Pitch and Grizzlebrand. Just don't draw Reanimate and we're fine. Take the Vengevine. What could go wrong? Yeah, this hand is a full checkmate on grief. It's just what else their deck is doing right now. Took a Crawler. And pass the turn. Another Crawler. Crawler plays this Crawler, triggers Vengevine. And we just clench our cheeks for a couple turns here and hope that they are below 8 life before they draw a Reanimate. Which is literally this turn. Come on. Oh, Dark Ritual. Oh, Animate Dead's worse. Because they don't even lose life. Yikes. This opponent ripping the heat. I do have 1 copy of, or was it last game? Where'd that go? I thought I saw a Pick Your Poison in this game. But it's not in Exile, and not in my graveyard. Okay, so there's 2 Pick Your Poisons in the deck? Did I mulligan a hand that had one? I swear I looked right at it this game. Yeah, this is just regular old black-red Reanimator. A classic strategy. They have 4 mana in the pool. Thoughtseize yourself, putting Archon of Cruelty in the graveyard, and another Animate Dead. Not even Reanimate. It had to be Animate Dead. Okay, I mean, their deck is kind of like my deck, but built to go way faster and over the top in a way that mine doesn't really do. Mine goes over the top of fair decks. My deck does not go over the top of unfair decks. They're destroying my Vengevine, that doesn't matter. Yeah, Pick Your Poison's not even good enough anymore. Oh, do you have anything messed up in your graveyard I could steal? Doesn't look like it. There's a Voidwalker over there, that's way too slow. I can't really do anything. I could trigger my Vengevines, then die. Moral victory. Trigger those Vengevines. Look how good my deck is against Edicts. Yeah, I could have drawn Reanimate last turn also, while the Grizzlebrand was sitting in their graveyard. But nope, we're dead. 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm technically at 2. Okay. I will play out the last turn. Dark Ritual, Animate Dead. That's what they said. Okay, I'm gonna sack. Oh, they have Voidwalker now. No, I'm dead. Okay. That was a kicking at the end. That was a positive record though with GristGaak. Grist, Voracious Larva, GristGaak. I don't think Grist flipped at all in this league, which is a shame. I was hoping to do some stuff. I did a few testing games, and when it does kind of settle into the grind and you're plussing Grist, refilling the graveyard is pretty sick. That just did not happen when the camera was on, though. But that's not completely surprising either, because Grist is a role player in this deck. It is there to be a 1-mana creature for Vengevine and GristGaak. It's green for Gaak. It is very easy to flip it once it's in play, but it does have to be in play for that to happen. The Warren Soul Trader, I bordered out a lot because it was just really slow against the matchups we played against, but it was really good in the round that it showed up. Let me do a lot of stupid stuff. If you really want to see Grist function, you could probably cut like a Soul Trader and a Marionette and just play 4 and just see that more often. I'm also on 3 GristGaaks because I was making room for all this other stuff, but GristGaak was frequently the best card I could have drawn. Trying to do a lot here. It was a stipulation challenge to build around a specific card that has demonstrated that it's not really over the bar of legacy playability. So I was trying to make that work. Then I was also trying to feature another cool new combo, all inside of a very specific shell of a deck that needs to get certain things done. Ran out of deck space pretty quick here, but there's a lot of ways you could tune this, and you can make it more Grist-centric. You could also put Grist into like a bug mid-range deck, which I didn't want to do because I just did a bug mid-range brew like a couple days ago on the channel. But if you play Grist alongside Unearth and Snapcaster Mage and like Strixes and Uro triggers Grist when you cast it from the graveyard, that's another big way to take the deck. Green Sun Zenith package is something you could do. Make it more of like a Black-White Depths or a Cradle Control style thing with graveyard synergies. There's a lot of stuff you could do here. It's a very cool card, very aspirational, how to build around it, but also making that competitive within the currently broken legacy format. It's a lot to ask. But we put up a positive record all the same. Austin, thank you for the challenge. Everyone, thanks for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, check out the Patreon, and I'll see you next time.